Welcome back to Etc. Podcast. I'm your host, Victor, along with my co-host, Mark.
You.
What's going on? There we go. We got it working. We don't have Kino, Papa the Bilo playing on loop.
We don't.
Thank God. All right, so it's like I'm not even gonna waste no time. This is a state of emergency in the state of Philadelphia. We gotta get right into this. This is the last time that I want to have a conversation about this topic, and then I'm done with it. Because I don't know how it just happened Sunday, and I'm already tired of this. What?
I'm trying to think what you're talking about.
The Oscars.
Oh,
Will Smith.
Oh, okay.
We're in a state of emergency. Our city is under attack. Our city's leader is under attack. Our city's leader, who never comes back to the city and doesn't care about us at all, is under attack.
So we must drop everything
and protect him, even though he doesn't love us. So yeah, if you don't know, if you live under a freaking rock, why is one arm higher than the other? Did you see that?
Somebody got some.
Somebody. I'm not gonna make fun of us. Nobody would have. Okay.
Jeez
Louise, you're a waste man, Mark. What's your problem, man? Praise to the man, them. No, so over the weekend on Sunday, it was the Oscars. I didn't even know that the Oscars was happening until like 5 minutes before.
I knew it was like coming up because like for Hulu, like there's ads, so like it would pop up sometimes, but I didn't like peep like when the date was. Like I just knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
I knew who the hosts were. That's all I knew about
I didn't even know that. I just knew that.
I knew it was like Wanda Sykes, Regina Hall, and Amy Schumer. Big Regina Hall fan, big Wanda Sykes fan. Moving on.
I'm like, okay.
There's no end there. So if you missed it, for somehow you didn't see it about it at all, Chris Rock was presenting an award this weekend, and usually he wasn't hosting, but usually when they come out, they like say a little spiel, like, oh, like these next nominees, yada yada yada,
and obviously knowing him being a comedian,
you expect a little jokey joke.
He had to go and like let people know, I'm Chris Rock and I'm
a comedian. You didn't know somehow. At this point.
And I'm a comedian, so I'm gonna go and say some stuff.
Or they'll pick on some people in the crowd, like, oh, it's a beautiful crowd tonight. I see, Denzel Washington's here. Praise to him. He's nominated for the award later tonight. We got Zoe Kravitz, who's just in Batman. Give some applause for her or something.
Clap, 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 clap.
They do that stuff, and then eventually he got to Jada Pinkett Smith, and he made a joke that was kind of distasteful to her situation and her health. And Will Smith took issue to it. Mark, have you seen the video? Have you?
Yes, I have.
You gotten the full scoop? Do you want to go first or should I go first?
I mean, I'll go first. I mean,
what do you think about it? And yeah, just go from there.
It's weird. To me, I feel like it's hard for me to really, not that it's hard for me to pick a side, but I can see from both sides, I guess, as to like what's happened here and like what should you really take from it. Like you said, like Chris Rock said some stuff, about Jada, and I was just like, in a way, like, yeah, that's fucked up. Just because, like, in a sense, everybody knows, at least everyone should know about, how Will and like Jada's like,
Yeah, and like people were saying like, oh, like I didn't know her. Like people didn't know about her situation. I don't even pay attention to her or her show, and I knew that she had that situation going on. 1, 2. Will and Chris, I don't know if they're cool or not, but they've been working together for literally since Fresh Prince. So like I'm sure there's some sort of something there. And if you're famous, most likely you hear and know certain things that like you're in a different loop that we're in. Yeah. So if we know, it's kind of hard to believe that people in the room didn't know.
Yeah. So, everybody like kind of knows about the whole situation. And like I said, to say some stuff about that is just, like you said, distasteful and just kind of not right because of like where you're at. Like it'd be different if it was like a roast, okay, everybody's throwing shit and hots, like, that's kind of where it's going. But to do that shit and like at the Oscars where it's supposed to be a little bit more of like a presentable, more just like, again, we're all here gathered to just bring people up and just, share like this achievement with each other, not to like, throw shots at people. So that's where it was kind of like.
Now I will say previous hosts before have done, like that's not new. Like people have, Ricky Gervais, like 1 year, I think he was the host and he went off for like a good 10-minute spiel. So like even him being like, little jokey joke, whatever.
I guess it was really just the idea of like who you picked. I don't know, but again, you couldn't have picked. Yeah, but you couldn't have predicted what happened next was going to happen. It could have just been like, okay, take that shit and then say some shit later. But again, like you said, Chris Rock said those words, and Will Smith got, a little agitated, a little upset about it, and went up and kind of delivered his own message to him and was
kept it brief and simple.
Yeah, and then walked right away.
He said, "Keep your wife's name out your fucking mouth."
He's like, huh? He said it again twice.
He said, "I will."
Twice. Yeah, he said, "I will." Will. So
he almost, like, something that I want to add, when that happened, there was a part of Chris Rock was like, yo, I'm a comedian. Like, he was like, I will keep my, like, he was like, keep your wife's name on my mouth. He's like, I will. And there was I don't know if you peeped it, he was saying, he's like, or I could, like he was about to go in some more, and he didn't. Which
that's
I found
just
funny.
a comedian.
So he was like, or I could,
Like, bro, I just got slapped, but I hope you know that I could use that even more. Like, I could keep going. Like, but yeah, so it was just on that idea where it's just, I can understand from Will's point of view, like, at this point, for how long it's been going, like you said, for people knowing the situation, I guess at that point, Will is just like kind of tired of it, like he's heard the jokes, he's, seen the memes, he hears left and right, and, being together with Jada is like, like going into maybe parties or events, like, like in your back of your head, you could probably be like, yo, like they're thinking like this and that. So it's like to hear it and then like on national television, it's just like, bro, like, all right, like,
yeah,
like I'm done with it, and I just want to like let you know, like, you might be able to say this, but this is like a message not only to you but to everybody. Like, like
that's something big I want to touch on, but I'm gonna let you keep going.
Yeah, so it's just that. Now, from Chris Rock's point of view, it's just the idea, like, bro, like, he made a joke, and you could have just also, like, said something afterwards, to do that, like, right there up on the front of the stage, like, in front of everybody. It was just like, bro, like, it literally was like a moment, like, where you're just, like, in school, and you're just like, yo, like, what do we
hey, yo.
like, hey, yo, like, because you saw, like, there's pictures of, like, everybody's reaction, like, certain people's reactions when that happened. You're just like, bro,
can we leave?
Yeah, like, I don't know what's about to happen. Is this part of the show? So it's, I don't know. It's kind of like difficult, but again, hey.
How would you have handled it?
Like I said, if anything, I would have like.
So like, this is your wife of 20 plus years, mother of your children, suffering from alopecia. You have, on a personal level how it affects her on a daily basis. And you just in front of millions of people, that just happened. Well, how are you handling it?
I probably would have said, if anything, because, well, I guess you wouldn't have known if you were going to get an Oscar,
No, you just know you're nominated.
Yeah, and I guess at that point, like, I don't know. But if I did end up winning, and then it was up there, I would have said some shit there, like, in front of everybody during my speech, like, yo, like, and to Chris Rock, like.
True. I feel that. I feel that.
Like, saying it
I didn't
that
think
way.
Of that.
I probably like it, but again, like, I wouldn't know if I would end up winning to be able to have that opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. So I guess like that's where it's kind of. But if anything, instead of slapping, I could have also, like he did, went up there and just took his mic and then said some shit like, yo, like, stop this bullshit, like, all this shit. So probably would take like that. I just feel like to physically like put your hands on somebody like that for that instance, like, it's just, unless y'all physically both know and agree that, yo, yeah, y'all about to throw hands.
I mean, he pulled up on him though. Like, that was not like.
I mean, yeah, he did pull up on him.
Like, what you think? Like, what did you think was about to happen?
He might be like, hey, yo, that's what.
Yeah, like it wasn't like it was a cheap shot.
I don't know. It's just. But it's just that idea, like again, you said, like, bro, there's been constant other comedians who throw shots, probably even worse at that. And you don't see them going up, they just kind of take it. And there's probably be even worse situations where probably someone passed away or something.
True. There's been harsher jokes out there.
So it's just, again, it's all people, how tough people's skin is, and go about it. But out of respect, he did what he had to do, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot to cover about it and say about it, so I'm gonna make sure I do this like thoroughly. So, one, from Will's perspective, obviously, like, your wife and mother of your children of years have just got like, there's no way for you to, yes, even if you're joking, if you say a joke, nobody can dictate how you perceive or receive a joke. Clearly from the footage, we can all see that Will laughed in some capacity. I don't know if that was like a haha, that's funny,
Yeah.
Or like, haha, like I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, I forgot to like mention it because I did see that part where it was literally like seconds kind of before he really said the joke.
Yeah.
So he was just like, kind of like, yeah, but go on.
Or 3, like a laugh of like, you know, when you're in a room of people, or like, remember like Shrek? You know how in Shrek they have like the cards up, it's like, oh, like laugh. And you do that shit, or you're kind of in that group mindset where you're in a crowd, like other people laugh, like, oh, we laughing too, like that was supposed to be funny, like you're in a, like if you're in a live studio audience or some shit, where you're just like not even thinking about it, just as a reflex you laughed because other people were laughing. Like I don't know if you really heard or processed the joke before you reacted.
Yeah.
Also, you could clearly see like from the minute she heard the joke that Jada Pinkett was visibly upset. Yeah, anybody can see that.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
So I don't know if he genuinely thought it was funny, and then he saw like, damn, like it hurt her feelings. Now I'm pissed because I don't know, like he didn't know how she was gonna go react to it until he saw her. So because at the end of the day, the joke, like you said, wasn't that deep.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't know how deeply something affects somebody. Like
this is true.
Especially for women, they're like a lot of women hold a lot of like emotional shit to their hair. So like to lose that or like have something that like inhibits that or kind of like affects it in some way, like you don't know how they can be at home. Like even for anything you're going through, there could be a day where like, oh, it's easy to laugh at it, and there are some days where you're like, damn, like this shit's really fucking with me. So he maybe sees that behind the scenes of like, damn, like behind closed doors, this really is something that she struggles with. Maybe in public she tries to hold face, but like you don't know that shit. So Will sees it. He's like, all right, like I'm fucking, like she's upset. That's my wife. Like in a certain way, like he feels like I have to defend her honor. Like that's a common thing between like husband and wife. Like if my wife or whatever disrespect her, or even my mom, I feel like I have to like step in. Now he goes up there and he smacks Chris Rock. Shitty smack, very terrible smack. I saw the slow-mo. He smacked him on the neck.
Did he? I thought it was like the bottom of the chin or something.
I don't know. It seemed like from the slow-mo, I saw more like this, and I'm like, come on, bro.
It was that wrestling.
Yeah, like, and when I saw that, so originally, like, when that happened, I wasn't watching. My mom ran to my room. My mom does not get excited for shit. She knocks on me. She's like, Vic, like, oh my God, like, Will just did this. And I'm like playing it back. I'm like, this looks fake. She's like, nah, it's real. I'm like, yo, the smack didn't even hit him. Like, Chris didn't react. I'll get into that in a second.
The way he reacted,
it seemed like very fake, but then you see that they cut out the audio. Shout out, I gotta go Japan TV to hear the audio of it because, like, everybody else censored it.
Was like Japan, Australia.
And yeah, like everybody else got the good shit except for us, and it was filmed here. So yeah, like that happens. It's awkward. Everybody's like, what the hell just happened? Chris Rock is like just laughing it off. But one thing that's major that I want to, like you said, the joke wasn't that deep, but I think it doesn't have anything to do with Chris. Like, yes, he caught the short end of the stick, but that shit was a buildup of like constant just like tear down and jokes already being sent at that family in general. Because regardless of the fact, like, I would assume that he sees all the like the Jada shit and like the August Alsina and just making jokes about all this other shit, like all like entanglements and, you know, just making fun of Will in general. Like that shit, like I know he sees the shit because sometimes he spins the joke on his own pages and like rides along with it.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, ha ha ha, like about it, deep down it could still fuck with you. And that's just been going on for years, bro. So like after a build up and build up and build up of that shit, I think that Chris Rock joke was just like that last like broke the camel's back type of situation, and Chris got the short end of it.
But it's like in my head, like, okay, like you said, the build-up and then finally just, but like, do you feel like that's where it just needed to happen? That's where it's just like it's.
But that's the thing with something like that, when you're holding something in, and something like that does, like, you're like, all right, that's enough. Like I snapped. There's no thinking anymore of like, damn shit, like we're at the Oscars, like, should I really be doing it here?
I don't know, but that walk was pretty long. You know, he could have thought about it.
Now, another part of that too is that I think he pulled back on the smack because I think he thought about it. But he's like, I'm here. I gotta smack Chris Rock. Like, there's no going back. I think generally, like I thought about that too. I think that's what happened because he did not smack him as hard as he could have. No, and the form, everybody talking about all the form. That form was ass,
bro.
He was like short, like you gotta like powder bang, like smack his shit.
Yeah, he went like up to down instead of like left to right.
Yeah, that was a shitty smack, bro. Like Will.
Because if somebody really was talking some shit and you want to smack somebody, you would really be like right here. And like,
if you trying to harm
across the face.
Bro, we just watch Slap Fight Championship. We know what a real slap looks like.
Yeah. Like this, hold your chin up. Hold your chin up.
And Chris was like right there, like laying out, like, bro, how you missed that? But
he was like, when he was walking up to him, bro. Oh man.
So I think that it's a lot deeper than just that one joke, because it wasn't that bad or cruel. But again, you don't know how somebody can react to something. And also at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, also from Chris's point of view, in most cases, and I've heard this be done before, where like if you have a joke about somebody, you tell them beforehand.
Oh yeah.
Or you run it by them like, yo, I have this joke about you. Like, is it cool? So like that could have been done, especially with that situation. Like, oh, like I know you have this thing. Is it cool if I make fun of it? That could have resolved a lot of shit.
Yeah.
That could have stopped a lot of stuff from happening. But instead of that, you just thought you would like just go at somebody like that.
Hey.
So there's that. And also, I don't know why everybody's so fucking surprised. Literally, Will Smith has done this on camera before. Everybody just forgot that like a couple years before that, there was a reporter who tried to like kiss him or something. He just smacked the shit out of him on camera.
It wasn't a crazy smack though. It was more like a
But still, like he got slapping tendencies. Yeah. So I don't get what the hell is the problem. But moving on to that's Will. I feel like I forgot something, but that's Will right there. Everybody was like, next I want to cover is like the people reacting to it. I don't know what the hell happened that overnight or in that same day, the entire world went from being overly sensitive about everything and like every little thing is offensive and how it bothers them and how it's insensitive or like whatever the fuck, and it's like it bothers every little part of them that they're so fragile. And then as soon as like not to make it a whole like race thing, but like a black man stood on a grand stage and made fun of a black woman in front of a bunch of people. So a lot of people take issue with that. Will took issue with that. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, Will's being insensitive. He's soft. When literally this entire world all the time is fragile as fuck.
Yeah.
And now that he was like, yo, that shit bothered me and went up and did something about it, everybody's like, oh, I would never resort to such violence. I would never do such a thing. Like, yo, shut up. Like, yeah, like maybe I'm crazy too, but I would potentially react the same way. If anything, Will did not do enough for me. Like, I'm being so serious. Like,
that's why
if you make fun of my wife, my mother, my sister, anybody who's not me, like, yo, make fun of me. I'm the one who's nominated. Pick on me. Don't pick on my wife.
Yeah.
I should have socked the shit out of you.
Yeah, at that point, that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, like, that's what we're gonna do. Like, then let me get something to go and crack a joke at, or let me like we can handle this at a different like
yeah.
Let's actually handle it, because like like I said, it's not the place to be doing that. Like you said, make fun of me, not somebody that like I'm cool, like, you know, like that's that close
that
to
I care about. Like it's not there. Like they didn't ask for this. Like they didn't sign up for that shit. And then also people are like, oh, he should have did it behind stage. I
wouldn't have made a difference really. But.
1, 2, that's not like, for me, that's not how I operate. Like if you publicly humiliate me, you need to publicly apologize, or I'm going to publicly do some shit back in that same setting. Don't humiliate me in front of a bunch of people and go back and say, like, oh, I'm sorry, that was wrong. Like, no, go back on stage and say you were fucking wrong, because that's where you did me wrong in the first place. So if you did that publicly, I'm going to walk up. I don't know if he necessarily should have smacked them. Like you said, I kind of partially agree with what you said. Like, go walk up and be like, yo, like, he could have walked up and be like, yo, like, don't fucking do that shit, or hop on mic and say some shit back. Or even from his seat, be like, yo, like, wait till I see you later. That would have been some gangster shit.
True.
Like, if he would have like, yo, like, wait, like, I'm gonna fuck you up later.
Yeah.
And then, whatever, they cut his mic off, and, like, Chris might be a little like, oh, shit, like, a little scared.
Yeah, you know.
And then later, you can handle your business. But, like, something had to be done in front of all that people because he humiliated or made a joke about her in a public setting.
Yeah.
So that's why I like, when people were like, oh, he should have did backstage, like, that would not have made a difference. And if he did nothing at all in that moment, then he'd be like, oh, he's pussy. Like that. Like if you telling me like you gonna make fun of my wife in front of me and I just sit there and laugh, like I'm I'm pussy on my fucking forehead. Like that. Like maybe that's the Philly in me. Maybe that's just how I was raised. But that shit would have gotten me hot.
No,
I would have been tight.
Yeah, same shit. I mean, like you said, especially from all the buildup, like you said, that it's come before. It's just like,
Yeah,
it's like, bro, at a certain point, like I'm not gonna sit here and take another joke because at this point, like like basically, like the whole point of this, like eventually, if I keep taking it, it's just gonna keep happening. Like
bro.
like
Yes, and that was
like I
gonna be
said, like the whole thing, like this is not just a message to Chris, but like to everybody, like stop with the
yeah.
fucking jokes.
And
Like,
everybody's like, oh, like I would never do such a thing, or like, oh, that's a crime, that's assault. It's like, bro, like y'all wasn't lying on y'all freaking stimulus checks and taxes and shit and getting all this money and like potentially going to jail, and y'all don't do all these fucking drugs and shit. And there's other people who are nominated and won awards for like being, and who also are known to beat their wives or like molest children or do like all this weird shit. And you mad that a man defended his wife in front of people who were laughing at his wife too?
yeah.
Like it's not like no, it's not cool being the butt end of the joke if you're not ready for that shit. Some people don't respond well to that. And then it's like, that was another point that I want to bring up too, is everybody's like, oh, like he should have handled it behind stage, or you know, he should never done anything, like he should never stoop to that level and make something look bad, da 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 da. Like you were just saying, like that build up. I hate when people, especially as like the audience or people like who are tweeting and on the internet and shit, I hate when people constantly just like poke you and poke you and poke you, and then when you respond, they're like, whoa, bro, like what's your problem? I ain't do nothing. It's like,
Jeez
nah, bro, like,
Louise.
yeah, geez Louise, man. So don't be such a waste, man. But like, I hate that shit. Like even in my own life, it's just like, don't poke me and be like, yo, come here, yo. And then when I'm like, yo, like hold the fuck on, or like, yo, like I'm tired of you making fun of me, I'm gonna respond.
Yeah.
Then the entire world's like, whoa, like what's your problem, dude? Even Chris was like, whoa,
Yeah.
why'd you do that for?
Right.
It's like, yo, like he's been taking joke after joke after joke after joke after joke about his kids, about his wife, about him himself.
Yeah, he's just tired of it.
Now, I don't, like, again, I do think that Chris he just took a hit for the entire world of those people who were poking at him because of the entanglement shit and all that other stuff. So it's unfortunate. But like that's what it was. Like if you really analyze it, it's easy to be like, "Oh, Will's crazy. Will Smith is crazy." It's like, nah, bro. Like he said it himself in his speech. Like that industry will tear you the fuck down. Like you're in a position where you constantly just, and it's completely factual, where you can get disrespected and you're expected to just laugh it off. If not, you're like not gonna work again.
Yeah.
Because like even something similar happened with Terry Crews, completely unrelated, but like a producer
I remember this. Yeah.
ran up to him and like basically sexually assaulted him. And him himself, he didn't do anything because he was like, yo, like, I could physically kill this man right now. But if I do that, I'm going to look as the bad guy and I'm never going to be able to work again. And even not even in that setting, like even in professional settings where like you have a boss or something, like some people will abuse that and be like, oh, like I'm in a position where I can do this and you have to laugh it off. If not, you're fucked over.
Yeah.
So like,
because you're not in the position of power.
Yeah, he was like,
there's somebody over you. It's like, that's just how it is.
So he was like, this is an industry where you have to constantly take disrespect and just laugh it off. And you can only do that for so long. He's been in that industry for what, since he's been a teenager? Like, damn. And even in his book, somebody said, or I didn't read it yet, but somebody said that he himself, his entire life, he said he's always felt like a coward since his situation with his parents. Because his father used to abuse his mother and like he felt like he should have done something. And that has constantly been a thing, like recurring theme for the rest of his life, to that point where he had an opportunity to be like, all right, like that's enough. And for people to act this way is just super annoying. Like it's a lot deeper than just that one joke. And everybody's just like, oh, he shouldn't have handled it that way, or that was incorrect or immature, or it makes you look bad.
Yeah, but again, it's like, for him, that was the only way. And again, it'd be a lot different for everybody if they were put into his shoes, you know? Like, and that's what people they don't see it that way.
All of a sudden, everybody's a law-abiding citizen who's a pacifist and never does violence, never chooses violence. Sometimes you need to take the fucking violent road or not take the high road for shit to like go your way sometimes.
Go your way.
Because I guarantee you this, bro. Everybody's like, oh, why did he do that? Or, oh, like, why did he hit him? He didn't have to do that. That's so low. That's so immature. I guarantee you, nobody will ever do that shit again on TV or in general.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever disrespect or make a joke about her or him because they know he bought that life. No, but that ass though, like
get his slaps for it, but yeah.
But like real shit, like everybody's saying like, oh, that's the wrong way to handle it. But I guarantee you, with every part of my being that nobody will do that shit again. Because he took it to that level. All it takes is one time. And now he's good.
No, he's good. Yeah.
Like, that's real shit. Like that's just real shit. Now, we've been going for a minute now. It's not time yet. But now we got to get to Chris. Chris, like I said earlier, you're a comedian. You know that, yes, freedom of speech. You can say whatever the hell you want. But that does not mean freedom of consequences. You can say whatever you want, but somebody can react however the hell you want to what you just said.
Yeah.
And you've been in this business for a long time. You know people are going to get pissed off at what you say. And you know this man. You've been working with this man literally since Fresh Prince. That's what, 30, 40 years of television and movies and shit?
Movies, yeah.
You know him. I know you have his number. I know you could be able to reach out to these people and be like, hey, I have this joke for tonight. Is it cool if I run this, like if I say this joke or not? If not, I'll come up with something else. You've been doing this for how long? You don't think you can come up with something different if they're offended by it? That shit was dumb. Also, if somebody comes up to you and smacks you on live TV, how do you not get at least one smack back in? How do you just let that happen, bro? You have kids, bro. Grown ass kids.
My thing is,
how do you go home and face them after that?
I feel like the whole thing with that was, jeez Louise, was the idea that he was just really trying to be professional. I mean, you think about.
No.
I understand what you're about to say, but it's just, I don't know. I felt like he just, again, him not expecting that was going to happen, you know, and being in the spot that he was at, I felt like it was just like, you know, I don't know. I felt like if he had a little bit more of an inclination, like seeing like, okay, I know where this is going to head, I feel like he probably would have been ready. But, you know,
no, even if like he didn't know he got smacked, like regardless, like how do you not, like the minute it's just like contact, my mind is immediately, I'm gonna swing back.
But yeah, but I guess he also thought of the idea, like you were saying, like, yo, like then he's gonna be looked at the bad guy for hitting back, or who knows what happened.
I'm the bad guy then. Right now, everybody's mad at Will because he didn't, like, obviously because he didn't react to whatever. Everybody's like, oh, Will should be embarrassed. If that was me, I would not be embarrassed at all. Also, forgot to point out about Will. The man made fun of his wife in front of him. Everybody laughed. He laughed too. Like, we don't know what he was going through his mind. You don't know, whatever. This man did this, walked up, smacked him, sat back down, and won Best Actor award.
Yeah.
He won Best Actor, gave a speech, and went home and went to an after party.
Yeah, I saw the after party, John.
Some gangsta ass shit.
Yeah, I saw that shit.
But with Chris, it's like, yo, like, I thought about that too. It's like maybe he ends up in that same Terry Crews type situation where he's like, damn, I don't want to fuck up shit for me either. Yeah. But I don't think at that point that would happen to him. Because it's a reaction, because he didn't initiate it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, he wasn't the one who like threw the first punch, you know, or whatever. So I felt like at that point it'd be him just defending himself. But I mean, hey, I don't know, you know.
We'd be rolling on the ground, bro.
I would. I mean, like, I definitely would say the same thing if somebody went and like touched me or touched my face or anything like that. Like, yeah, I'm gonna react. Like that's the one place you don't touch somebody.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
Because at that point you're just asking for a fight. Like, no one's gonna come up to me, whether if it's a smack, a punch, or just like hold my face and then like shove it. Like, no one's gonna do that shit. I'm gonna just sit there and be like, okay, you know.
Like, bro, I would have rather gotten punched. To me, a smack is so much more disrespectful.
Yeah, it is.
It's like spit in the face, smack, then punch.
Yeah.
Like, that is top tier disrespect.
Yeah, because at that point, it's just like, it's almost like you're belittling somebody.
Yeah,
you know?
bro. Like, he just got bitched in front of thousands upon thousands of people. I don't know if he's married anymore, but like, I know you have kids, bro.
I mean,
what part of you, like, there's not, like, as his son, like, son, like, I had to take the high road, you know, I'm like, Dad, you should have smacked the shit out of him. Like, what is your problem?
Like, especially if you know you could have, you know, like, if you were able to do it, but like, you probably should have.
He ate that half-ass slap.
Mm-hmm.
You got to at least get a smack back. And then if y'all both walk off, cool.
I don't think it would have went like
that. It wouldn't have. But I'm saying at the very least, at least show some effort. Don't just take that like, haha, yeah, that's crazy. That was the best night in television. Yeah, bro, you just got smacked and people are going to replay this for years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You will always be known as the dude that Will Smith walked up and smacked and you did nothing about it.
And it's going to be playing in those remix Jersey Club songs now.
Bro, it's like, facts. Like, that's the thing though. It's like, it's not just that moment. That's going to hold on forever. You will always be your name will always be brought up in that.
Yeah.
You did nothing. Like Will's biggest shit. Like even if you lost the fight, like understandable.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're around the same age, maybe like a 5-year difference, but still, like you at least have to go out with a fighting chance. Like you cannot show just, oh, you can come up and smack me and nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess publicly and like, you know, face to face, probably there won't be another chance like that. But I mean, you know, some shit's still gonna happen later. You know, whether it's today or within the next week, some shit's gonna come out. You know.
Well, Will already issued his apology, and he even said himself, he admitted himself that it had nothing to do with Chris in the first place. That it was just more about what we were just talked about, like how it just kind of like a buildup of other things. Because like Will, I don't know if you follow him on anything,
I don't think
but
so.
I do. I have like his Instagram or something. I see the content he posts, and it's just this very high, like forced, like family oriented, like oh, like inspirational shit. Because that's what it started off as. Like when he remade his social media a couple years ago, and it was like a big deal. His whole thing was like being, you know, inspirational, like oh, like failing forward, and you know, like powering through, and you know, family and whatever. And it got to the point where
like Dom Toretto.
Yeah. And it also comes off as very like forced and fake, where it's like kind of robotic and it seems like not himself. It doesn't
seem like it's actually real.
Like, so like a part of that is like, oh, like kind of robotic, and I feel like that a bit of his real self kind of poked out there. But
yeah, okay. Yeah.
So like I don't know. There's a lot of layers to that. It's a lot deeper than that one instant.
That's the issue with, you know, being famous. You know, it's like you got to put on that front a lot of the times, and sometimes, you know, it's scary to put your actual self out because then you might be afraid of what people might take it as. And you know, last night it's like you said, it poked out a bit, and now people are probably gonna be like, oh, like he's this, he's that. But
yeah.
I don't know. Like you said, I mean,
he was vulnerable on stage about it. He was being real.
Yeah, he's just trying to be real, you know.
But then at the same time, like, yeah, they get made fun of because of their lives, but they also are very public, which is also partially their fault as well. The alopecia part, that can't be hidden. Like, that's gonna be brought out. But like the entanglement shit and like her stuff with Red Table Talk and like the way that he just like surrounds himself around all that stuff and all their family business is put out there is partially their fault as well because they decide to do so, and they also benefit from it because he released a book. She has her show on like Facebook Watch, whatever, like the Red Table Talk, where it's like huge, like it's one of the probably the most popular show. He had his book, like they're profiting off of a lot of the shit that they put out there, so it comes at a cost, and clearly it was too expensive because he went up there and smacked Chris Rock. But lastly, before we I want to talk about also the fucking Academy. Cause like, how do you just let him get up there and there's no security, no nothing? Especially if you, for somebody who myself, on a smaller scale, I work in production. I know what's in my schedule and what's planned. If I see something like that unplanned happening, how do you just let that happen?
Well,
how do you not at least have somebody like, oh, Will, what are you doing? And if Will's like, oh, I just want to like say something funny. All right, cool.
Well,
how is there no security? Like, yo.
Well, I do think again, like, you know, it's one of those things where I feel like, yo, if somebody's in there, there's really no reason to have like a security because like all that's probably at the front. They're checking bags, checking all that shit, you know? And it's like that. Sure, there should be some security there, but in that instance, it's very hard to really manage and control that because again, like you said, if it's not planned, they're for the most part not really worried about it because they're just like, oh, everything should just go from here on out smoothly. Like, yeah, we're checking like, okay, lights, we're checking sound, we're checking all that. That's what they're really worried about because all that's presented on TV. But for somebody to walk up, like physically walk up, it's probably really hard for them to really catch that and really just like start like just like,
but no, but there should, even regardless, like, even if it's not security's sake, especially when you have like, when you're announcing a woman winner, there's people that usually like help them up or do like there should just somebody be there. Cause like even from my own experience, like you could think like, oh, everything's gonna go smoothly. It never does.
Yeah, you
should always have somebody ready.
I just think something like the Oscars, it wouldn't be something where they would have security at like that. If it was something like the Grammys or something like that, where I don't know if they have more. If they have, I think what I'm trying to say is if they have people there that aren't actually there that are supposed to be there, like fans or whatever, like that's where they know that they would need that shit because some shit will pop off. Who knows? Like they just really don't know. But for something like I said, the Grammys, where they know that everybody sitting in those seats was invited, like it wasn't just random people there. That's the thing where it's like, okay, well, if everybody's here and checked, then we're most likely like we're good. But again, it should always have like
Yeah,
some security somewhere, like you said.
because regardless, like one for the purpose that I had said earlier, but also they invite like social media people too, like TikTok people.
Yeah.
Like I would be worried, like, oh, one of these assholes is gonna run up and try and do some dumb shit. Yeah, like a Jake Paul type dude. Like that's the type of stuff that I'd be thinking about. And then for them to act like they're so like, oh, like the Academy does not condone violence, da 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 da. They kept the cameras on it. They kept the audio and streamed it to other countries or whatever. They're like, most likely nobody was really watching that shit, and they saw all their viewership pick up after the fact. And then they want to act like, oh, like I cannot believe he acted this way, da 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 da. When you're yourself, the Academy is also profiting from what happened that night. It's probably their most viewership that they had in years. So like they did a terrible job with that too. Is it's like, yo, like don't act all innocent.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just like I said, it's just kind of crazy. But I mean, I don't know exactly how they really were going to like I said, like prepare for that. But they definitely should have had something there. Like you said, like the cameras for the most part should have just like went to something
Cut
else,
off or go to the
commercial,
fans. Yeah,
who knows, something like that. Yeah, to really just how to kind of keep it going.
because there's also a delay.
Yeah, yeah.
They have delays
so
on shit. We don't really watch.
We don't watch
it
like live, actually live. It's really like about a good like minute delay before it actually gets to us and we see it. So definitely some shit could have happened and they could have just immediately took it off and went to commercial. Who knows? Like, because it's shit like that's happened before where shit just goes to commercial, and they're just like, fuck it, like we got to put it on because we have to. So yeah, some shit could have got fixed. I also heard that Chris Rock's like for his tour that he's doing,
it like
went like he got so many fucking
like the demand for a West. That's what I'm saying. Like people are like, that's why I thought it was fake for the most part. Because like yo, like nobody's watching the Oscars. They do a little publicity stunt.
Yeah, yo, Chris.
Yeah,
let's cook some shit up.
And like and then I seen everybody's reaction of like, oh, like they didn't know what was going on. So I was like, maybe this was something like between the Academy, Chris Rock, and Will. Oh, yeah. And Jada were like, only they knew about the joke to get a genuine reaction out. But then it just, as it evolved, it seemed very real. And you see Will give out his speech and like be crying and saying that like, yo, like, this is what went down. Like, I'm sorry. But it seemed, on the way over here, I saw something that they were cool now, that they like both talked or met up or something. So, but I have never been, shit like this similar happens all the time where it's viral and people talk about it. I got so tired of that topic so quick.
What do you mean?
Like that situation. Okay. Like it happened that night. And then by like Monday morning, I'm like, all right, like stop. Like it's over. Like I got so sick of the jokes and the situation so fast to me.
Lie, there was some funny memes.
Nah, bro, there was some Jones that had me cracking up. There was somebody made a song. Somebody made Will and Chris Rock in WWE, the new one, like had them fight. Like some shit had me cracking up. Yeah. But like other things is like, all right, like it's over with. Like that's enough. Yeah. And then people are like, oh, where's that same smoke for like August Alsina? It's like, yo, like that situation of them being openly able to have other partners, nothing was done wrong.
Yeah, that's also a completely different situation. I don't know. It's not the same situation to me.
If they were split or they have a polyamorous relationship, like that's not them necessarily doing each other wrong.
Yeah, like
there's no need to have smoke for August Alsina. And also, like, if anything in that situation, I highly doubt that they're friends, Will Smith and August Alsina. Yeah. I don't have any, like, bad blood towards him. I would be more upset towards my ex-wife or wife or whatever for doing, like, we have more. I'd be more upset with you doing something bad to me than some stranger. Because we have a friendship and we've been together for a long time. Yeah. Not together. I don't know why I said it like that.
Yeah, but why you said it.
we've been friends for so long that I'd be more hurt if you did something wrong to me than some stranger.
Yeah, it makes sense for the most part.
So I would not have smoke with the stranger. I would have more smoke with you because we have a bond together. Yeah. So like, there's no need for that beef. And then people are like, oh, like, where's that smoke for Tupac? I'm like, yo, he's dead.
Or is he?
Or he's in Cuba. But yeah, man, I mean, we've been going for a minute, rightfully so. I wanted to like get my chest off of it. If you have anything left to say, we'll let you go. But if not,
no, like I said, like it's pretty intense what happened. I'm gonna talk when I'm not yawning. Pretty intense what happened, but again, like things had to happen. Some people, got upset. They took it a certain way, and it was just something that Will thought he needed to get off his chest, and like you said, like you were saying, like for the most part, Chris could have went about it through them first to see if everything was okay. He didn't. Took it upon himself, said what he said, and had the consequence of it. But it's over, and you know,
Yeah, I just wanted to get this out on here, and I don't ever want to even think about this shit again.
Yeah. So
I am so surprised by how like hypocritical people are about this situation. Like they would never act that same way at all. And they would be so perfect about it.
Yeah. Just defending who he loves and all that stuff. So for the most part, yeah. The Oscars, everybody. Stay tuned next year. See what happens.
I still won't watch.
Neither will I.
I'll catch the highlights.
But I'm pretty sure before, when it starts to get up to the point, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, I wonder what's gonna happen."
Yeah,
you know, like it's gonna be that type of shit. And then people are gonna watch and they're gonna be like, "Wow, this is so boring." Because now they're probably gonna put like barricades on the
They probably will purposely do some type of shit.
You know, there'll probably be some barricades that can't people get through it. You know, it's all gonna change now.
Next year will be the fake event. Next year's when they're gonna do it.
True. They're gonna have a whole ring in there, and it's gonna be like, okay, 2 stars. Let's see who's gonna come up next. So
I think something may have gotten tossed up in the universe because like the same day that Kanye and Kim were out at one of their kids' soccer game and his life was all peaceful, I think that energy got like transplanted into Will. Something in the cosmos where like all that chaotic energy.
There's that toxic energy for some reason.
It got pulled out of Kanye. Kanye got to go to a soccer game on a Sunday with his ex-wife and his kids and have a good time and have a lovely, peaceful life. And then it just went into Will.
Yeah.
And Will was
for
just
some reason that weird, toxic, traumatic energy is just flying somewhere, and it has to be transferred to somebody. Mainly famous people. It's only a famous one.
Flew to West Philadelphia, born and raised, and just he's like, ah.
Yeah, it was
ready to fight.
Yeah, it was Fresh Prince versus Everybody Hates Chris.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So, all right. Well, I think that's all for the most part. So you can find what you gonna do.
I was gonna say I'm still a fan of both at the end of the day.
Yeah, true, exactly. Yeah, like there's no way you can from what happened.
How much for one rib?
Yeah, like
that shit still cracks me up.
I'm not gonna sit here and
Marty from Madagascar.
Exactly. Like I'm not gonna sit here and just be like, oh, like I hate this person. Like no, like for the most part, you were in my childhood. You made me laugh. Like it's all good. You know, just don't do no crazy grimy shit. Like you're like, oh yeah, you know, I think what Russia's doing is like say some shit like that. I'm like, all right, bro, like you out of like that's where you start drawing the line. But to defend yourself and just make sure people respect you and all that and whatever, it's all good. But yeah, you can find me Instagram, etc. Marky Mark, Twitter, Marky Mark, Twitch at Marky Mark as well. Victor, where can they find you and etc. at?
Find me at the Oscars next year. You know what I mean? Me and Mark, we're gonna fight on stage. We just gonna act like we don't know each other. And you gonna go up and do like a joke about me or something, and then just
like, wow, look at this guy, man. Jeez Louise, he's a waste man, eh?
He's a waste man. Am I right, man? Them?
Am I right? Wow,
Jeez
everybody,
Louise.
come on.
You're very rare.
Right? You're very rare, man. It's rare to see you here, man. I can't believe
it. What the fuck are you doing here, waste man? But no, you find me Instagram, Twitter, and everything else at etc Victor, etc. Stuff is at real etc on all platforms as well. Our email is real.etc@gmail.com. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know what you think. Either way, most likely if you like disagree with me, I'm gonna think you're a dummy. Not because like you're not allowed to disagree with me, but it's just like, damn, bro, like be real. Like you're not perfect. You would have chose violence in the same way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, appreciate all the love. We're at 100,000 views on YouTube, which is great. We're on our way to 500 subs.
Yes,
so trying to get 1,040 years out, which I think we could crush it if we keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah,
and that's possible. It. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.